Shalom, shalom. Before we go into this lesson on praise, honor, and glory due to Yahweh Shem Yahushai, Bashem Kodash. I will honor to the apostles and elders of GMS that rule well, and to all you brothers in the four corners of the earth and sisters that are fully led. Now, the name of this lesson is based on the stress of nation. It's actually prophecy, and it come from a video I was watching on YouTube. This video is and this woman make a statement and it bring a scripture to mind, so I decided on bring out some edification on it.
Hey Munchies, welcome to the channel if you're new, or if you're not, I'm Alicia and I'm stoked you're here.
What she was basically saying is that anxiety attack and depression been going up, alright, rapidly than any time in the past years. Alright, so since this had been going up,
Either way, today we are talking about mental health and if the food we eat impacts our mental health. Spoiler,
it does.
Anxiety is on the rise in the US, and it doesn't have to be classified as a mental condition for you to feel anxiety. It's a disorder characterized by persistent worry and nervousness, and there is a spectrum, so you can feel different levels of anxiety at different times, and different circumstances may need different approaches for treatment and healing. I am a huge fan of therapy and ensuring that we prioritize.
Yeah, and the reason for that is because Esau kingdom is coming to an end, right? And it was prophesied in the script, right? So let's go into the scriptures to point that out, and then when we finish pointing that out, you're gonna notice that, all right, it's because Yahweh Shem Yahushai is getting ready to give the kingdom back to Israel, right? Luke 21 and 21. Luke 21 and verse 24. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword and shall be led away captive into all nations. That's Israel. Right? We will fall by the edge of the sword when you go back to 70 AD. Alright, and we led away captive into all nations by the transatlantic slave trade. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. Right? And that's right now. The Gentiles, the Khazarians are in our land trodden it down. And there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon. And lately we've been seeing a lot of UFOs, down to this faggot-ass comedian. Sorry, I mean faggot. In fact, oh shit. Oh God. Dave Chappelle was saying, oh God. Talking about the UFOs and so forth, how it's been rapidly increasing in the last stand-up. If you go on Netflix, you could find it, right? That's the signs in the sun, right? You ain't gonna literally see a sign in the sun, all right? And also these different blood moons, and so forth, right? The different blood moon, these different what you call it? Eclipse, all right? And in the moon, all right, and in the stars, all right, you will see the stars align a certain way, and so on and so forth, all right. And basically in the heavens you would see strange phenomena, so to speak. Green eye man from Mars. I don't like he said it. And up on the earth, the stress of nations, the perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring, all right. So this lesson is based on this part. The stress of nation with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring, right? The sea and the waves roaring. So if you focus on, we're going to focus on this part, the stress of nation with perplexity, all right? Because you've been seeing the sea and the waves roaring, all right? These different storms and so forth are going on in these Asian countries, all right? Like India, like Indonesia, like South Africa, and all these different nations, right? There's the stress of the sea and the waves roaring. All right. So now let us go into the stress of nation and perplexity. All right. I'm slipping on my tongue, right? But be patient with me. I ain't want to read on the speech. All right. I kind of slow on the song. Right, so excuse me on that. Right, Baba Kwasha. So we gonna go into a little statistic on the rise of anxiety and distress. But before going into that, let us go into the war distress. You know, mind getting forgetful most is going to, right? The mind getting forgetful. It's a painful situation, misfortune, right? Distress. I want to jump down to the point, right? Yeah, distress, unhappiness or pain, suffering that affects the mind or body. All right, and suffering that affect the mind or body lead to anxiety, right? A very difficult situation which you do not have enough money or food. You see, and that's because the wicked in rulership, right? And they are oppressing the entire world, so to speak. The scripture tell you when the wicked are in authority, the people mourn. All right, and when the righteous are in authority, so to speak, the people rejoice. Roughly paraphrasing that scripture. Now, seizure and detention of the good or the goods of another as pledge, something that is destroying. Right now, let us go down to the synonym. All right, synonyms. Right, affliction, agony, anguish. Again, none. Give me a sec. Give me a quick sec. All right, we're gonna have to go back. Let us go back, man. Let's go in. It says state of extreme necessity or misfortune. Right? Actually, this is it right here. You see, verb to afflict with great pain, anxiety, or sorrow, trouble, worry, bother. You see, to subject to pressure, stress, or strain, embarrass or exhausted by strain. You see? Now, let us go to some statistic. Right? Let us go back to the statistic. Alright, did you know anxiety disorder are the most common mental illness in the US, affecting 40 million adults in the United States, age 18 and older, or 18.1% of the population every year. Anxiety disorder are highly treatable, right? And that's true. You have to use the herbs. But some people say they turn to medication, prescription, and so forth. But the best remedy for anxiety, to treat anxiety, all right, speaking to Israel, right, the so-called Latino, Native Indian, West Indian, and so-called Amerindian, you have to use the herbs to overcome anxiety, right? It's people with anxiety disorder are 3 to 5 times more likely to go to the doctor and 6 times more likely to be hospitalized for psychiatrist disorders than those who do not suffer from anxiety disorders. You know, that's why the hospital be making so much money, right? I say anxiety disorder develops from a complex set of risk factors, including genetics, brain chemistry, personality, and life event. You see, that's because you're not eating the right food. All right, just your environment is toxin. All right, the information that your mind is being fed is false, and all these different things lead to anxiety, and all these different things Esau, the so-called white man, which is the devil according to the Bible, but pushing on these people, right? Anxiety, depression. It's not uncommon for someone with an anxiety disorder to also suffer from depression, or vice versa. Nearly one half of those just diagnosed with depression are with that are also diagnosed with an anxiety disorder, right? Generalized anxiety disorder. GAD affects 6.8 million adults, or 3.1% of the US population, yet only 43.2% are receiving treatment. And that's going to only make it worse because they're not receiving the right treatment. Women are twice as likely to be affected as men because what the scripture say, women are the weaker vessel. That's why they are more likely to be affected with anxiety. You see, they can't take pressure. You see, that's why it's important for the women to lean on the man. All right, because the man is stronger mentally. You see, he could bear strain. You see, that's why you Israelite women, be in subjection to your man. Don't try to backbite, over talk, and oppress the man. Right? If you oppress the man, how you gonna expect the man to deal with your anxiety attack? You know? And then you're gonna go listening to Megan Thee Stallion, that song that she say, what what? I'm a bitch. What she say? I'm a bitch, but what's some shit? But if I'm a bitch, but if some, I can't remember exactly the phrase that she used, but basically what she was saying, that she is a bitch and she are crazy, and she said that you gonna call me a bitch anyways if I are crazy, something like that. I can't remember exactly. You see, that's anxiety, right? When women get anxiety attack, they act out. You see? So let me see. Let me go ahead and it said women are twice as likely to be affected as men. GAD offense co-occur with major depression, panic disorder. Yeah, that's one. PD affects sick. Panic disorder (PD) affects 6 million adults, or 2.7% of the US population. Women are twice as likely to be affected as men. You know why? Because they are the weaker vessel, like I just went into. Social anxiety disorder, right? Meaning, what is social anxiety disorder? Social anxiety disorder is that when you speak, you get an anxiety explaining yourself. All right, that's social anxiety disorder, right? They say affect 50 million adults, or 6.8% of the US population. SAD is equally common among men and women, and typically begins around age 13. According to a 2007 AAA survey, 36% of people with social anxiety disorder report experiencing symptoms for 10 or more years before seeking help. Right? Specific phobias. Right? Specific phobias affect 19 million adults, or 8.7% of the US population. Women are twice as likely to be affected as men. Symptoms typically begins in childhood, right? That's because you being oppressed from birth, bro. Soon as you born, he's so oppressing the hell out to you, right? It's 17%. It's a obsessive compulsive disorder, and right, it says stress. Everyone experiences stress and anxiety at one time or another. The difference between them is that stress is a response to a threat in a situation. Anxiety is a reaction to the stress. Obsessive compulsive disorder. OCD affect 2.2 million adults, or 1.0% of the US population. OCD is equally common among men and women. You know, it's so good in in torment stuff sometimes. It said the average age of onset is 19. The average age of onset is 19, with 25% of cases occurring by age 14. One third of affected adults first experience symptoms in childhood. PTSD affects 7.7 million adults, or 3.5 of the US population. Women are more likely to be affected than men. Rape is the most commonly likely figure of PTSD. 65% of men and 5.9% of women who are raped will develop the disorder. All right. Childhood sexual abuse is a strong predictor of lifetime likelihood for develop PTSD, and that's true. Major depressive disorder, the leading cause of disability in the US for ages 15 to 44.3, right? Affects more than 16.1 million of American adults, so about 6.7% of the US population age 18 and older in a given year. It's a form of depression that usually continues for a less 2 years. Ah, God. We don't go into that. We don't go into that. You see, this is some of the they say read on the learn more about the coordinates of anxieties and these disorder. Bipolar disorder, eating disorder, headaches, irritable bowel syndrome, sleep disorder, substance abuse. You know, this is why when you get anxiety, this is what happened to you. Chronic pain, stress, right? And as you read down, you know, you could look this up. You know, you could look this up and get into this more. You know, but I don't went into it because the people is oppressed. That's why this happening to them. You know, and 8 herbs to help this this disorder, anxiety. I get them here. You know, and your brother should take them and sister St. John wort. You know, that's one. Ginseng, which ginseng is one of the substance that I use. Let me substance, the herb, right? Kamali. Kamali is also one of this the huh? Kamali is one also, you know, it help stimulate your nerves and give you relaxation, right? Lavender, the smell of lavender also help you. You know, if you bathe with it, you smell it, so on and so forth. Stuff, saffron, right? Same. You see, throw away these prescription bottles and turn to these herbs, right? Omega 3 fatty acid also helps. You know, I know what is this one here. You know, so that is basically it. You know, so with that, all praise honor and glory due to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Shalom. Shalom.